And joining us on the line is DeRay McKesson. He originally is from Baltimore, but he was on the ground in Ferguson. He's now on the ground as a community activist in Baltimore again, and was there as the protest turned into rioting. We wanted to get his perspective on this morning. Good morning, Mr. McKesson. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
All right. So a little calmer night last night. From your perspective, I want you to sort of take me through how what started out as a protest, and I think most people agree that, there's something that happened in this particular case that people are upset about, but it went from protest to rioting and looting and arson very quickly. How does that happen?
What I saw was an uprising. I didn't see rioting. Rioting is what happened after Watts, and that's not what happened in Baltimore. There's an uprising. I think that the reality is that people are upset, people are hurt, and the police continue to kill people. So when I think about the violence that I've seen since August, it's the mini police killing. It's the 300 people killed by police this year alone. That is violence. And that violence, remember, has had no justice, no accountability. Nobody's been sent to jail. And that is something that is hard to live with. There's a trauma in blackness that is very real and in marginalized communities. And what you're seeing is that coming to a boiling point, not only in Baltimore, but in communities across the country.
I respect your position on this, but when you say it's an uprising, I see looting, I see stealing, I see arson, I see destruction, I see police cars being destroyed, I see a lot of people breaking the law.
What do you see when you see a dead Freddie Gray?
Look, I started out by saying I think most people agree there is something here worthy of investigation and something perhaps worthy of protest. But how do you justify the violence?
I don't have to condone it to understand it, right? It's not just Freddie, right? It's Freddie, it's Maya, it's Tyrone West here in Baltimore, it's Rakia, it's Tamir, it's Mike Brown. These are not isolated events, right? What we're seeing is police brutality happening and police violence happening in such a widespread way with no accountability. So what did it mean in Baltimore when he was clearly alive when he got in the van and he was unconscious when he got out? Like, that is a trauma and pain that is real, and people's pain manifests in different ways. So again, I don't have to condone it to understand it, but I hope you are not suggesting that broken windows are comparable to broken spines. I think that is a scary and dangerous America to be in.
Well, and I hope you're not suggesting that what happened to Michael Brown in Ferguson was police brutality. You just threw his name out there and then finished it and said, and look at all, and used it as an example of police brutality. It's just not the case.
Police violence.
Well, it was justified police violence. The police do use violence sometimes. You just gave a stat about people who have died at the hands of police officers, but you misled because you didn't tell us how many of those deaths were justified. Do you not believe the police should ever use...
Justified by whom?
Well, so here's the question. Let me ask the question and then you can answer it. Do you not believe that the police should ever use deadly force against a citizen?
What I believe is that unarmed people can be neutralized in ways that don't lead to their death. And
okay, it's a simple question. I need you to answer the question directly. Are the police never justified to use deadly force against a citizen?
The police should not kill unarmed people.
Okay, so all right. Good to know that you're on record there. What are the police supposed to do if they are being attacked by someone?
Show me somebody who was attacked.
Officer Darren Wilson, for one, in Ferguson. And it's not. And by the way, no, hold on. It's not me saying that. That's Eric Holder's Department of Justice saying that. So you don't have an argument with me.
You've not read the report.
Well, I have read the report.
That is not what Eric Holder said. So remember, there are many witnesses who said his hands were up. And again, in a criminal proceeding, that would be evidence that would be used in a trial, and that is not what we've seen.
Well, I think the report said that there were no credible witnesses that said that.
Credible witnesses. Remember witness 40? So that was not a credible witness, and that is who McCullough repeatedly used during the grand jury. So if you want to talk about credible witnesses, you need to extend that conversation further.
So I will get back to the original question. If a police officer is being physically attacked by an unarmed citizen, what should the police do?
Yeah, I don't know those situations because Mike Brown wasn't physically attacking anybody.
Really? Set Michael Brown aside. You're telling me that unarmed people, criminals, never attack police officers? Because I saw it in the streets.
I don't know those cases. I don't know.
Really? Did you not see people throwing bricks at the police in Baltimore Monday night?
Freddie Gray wasn't attacking anybody.
Excuse me. Did you see people throwing bricks at the police Monday night?
You talked about people threatening people's lives, and what I'm saying is that Freddie Gray wasn't. And no, I've not seen people threatening.
You want to talk about Freddie Gray? I want to talk about the riot. So are we going to have a conversation?
I want to talk about Freddie Gray.
All right.
I want to talk about what you call the riot.
All right. So you just said the police officers never get attacked by the citizens, and I'm telling you, were you not watching Monday night when people were throwing bricks?
Fear for their lives. And what I'm saying is that I've not seen police officers in situations where they should fear for their lives. What I saw is people frustrated, right? So what you're saying is that Freddie Gray, what I know to be true is that Freddie Gray was unarmed. It was not threatening any officer.
So when we're frustrated,
you are on air right now justifying his murder, and that is disappointing.
I did not justify Freddie Gray's murder. How dare you put words in my mouth? If you want to lie about me, you can go somewhere else to do it. I didn't say that. I said nothing about.
What should have happened? So what happened?
But I did justify. Excuse me. But I did justify Michael Brown's death, just like the Department of Justice did, and just like a grand jury did.
Did not.
Then where are the charges? Then where are the charges from Eric Holder against Officer Darren Wilson?
No officer has been charged, so you are justifying every person's death because none of them have been convicted. The only officer that I can think of recently is the officer who killed Oscar Grant, and he only went to jail for a couple of years.
Well,
so the bar is that they have not been convicted, and that means it was justified, and you are justifying the murder of many people.
Listen, let's see if we can get this thing back on track. A lot of people are saying that things spiraled out of control because it wasn't the people who live in the community that came in, but there were agitators, people who came in and stirred up foment in the community. I'm not saying that there isn't some frustration in the community. Obviously, they touched a nerve. But a lot of people say that initially the protests were peaceful until certain elements moved into the city. And I point out that although you're originally from Baltimore, you're sort of fit that category, do you not?
Let's be clear. The police are killing people, and people are upset about it all across the country. People here are upset about it. People came in support and solidarity. This is my hometown. I just moved away 2 years ago. The police have been terrorizing people in black communities for many years.
Terrorizing?
This country is terrorizing, yes. So unless you think that mobs lynching people is not terrorizing, then I don't know what else to call it.
So you think the police are lynching? The police are a mob who lynch people in Baltimore?
So again, listen to what I said is that they've been terrorizing black people for centuries. And yes, the police, again, the origin of policing in America was around slavery. So this is a long tradition here in this country. And when I think about what is happening now, the police are literally killing people. Freddie Gray was alive. He was alive when he got into that van. There was no reason why he was to be stopped. And he was unconscious when he got out. And if you can tell me that you think that makes sense to you, then I'm interested to hear that argument.
Well,
Rice is another one.
I would say, as I said when I started, I think that there are real questions here. I think there should be an investigation. The Justice Department is looking into it, and I'm not minimizing it. I'm just as concerned about that man's death as you are, but I don't think it justifies the torching of a city.
If they killed your child, what would you have people do? You tell me.
Well, the family says that they don't want to see what has just happened.
That's not what I asked you.
Well, they did. You're talking about killing the child that was killed. The parents of the child that was killed said that they didn't want that kind of activity.
I'm asking about yours. If people kill people in your family, please give America advice about how you want them to grieve as someone killed someone in your family.
I would grieve. I wouldn't burn a city down.
Exactly. You didn't answer the question. Okay,
I did.
So,
all right. Well, listen, I think we're out of time, and I appreciate you being here with us. I think we just see the world very differently, and I think that's part of why this is so baffling to many people who watch what happened in Baltimore. But thank you for joining us, DeRay McKesson.